Alright, yeah, and welcome back to some more Magic Arena, and today is Brawls Day, so we are bringing you another wonderful Brawls video, because it's good old Wednesday, and that's the only day you can play Brawl, unless you use arenabrawl.net or Brawl Hall. Arenabrawl.net allows you to save 10,000 gold and play against your friends and strangers as well on the internet. It's pretty good, and a good way to play Brawl. The only real way to play Brawl. We're going to be playing Alela today, Artful Provocateur, 4 mana for a 2/3, flying Death Touch lifelink, other creatures you control with flying at +1/+0, and whenever you cast an artifact or enchantment spell, create a 1/1 blue fairy creature token with flying. So, with Theros Beyond Death coming out, this is going to be a pretty good deck. This is actually a tweak to an older list, so I haven't really had too much luck with any of the Theros legends, if I'm being completely honest. I think a lot of them are unfortunately just very mediocre when it comes to Brawl. They don't really add too much. I think there's one or two that are decent, but for the vast majority are not very good Brawl commanders, in my opinion. I've played with a fair few over the past week, and yeah, not really had too much luck with them. So we're going to go back through to an old one, which I think actually benefits from Theros the most, and it's obviously an artifact and enchantment matter commander, which Alela is definitely one of those. So I'm not going to go too much into the deck, but the general gist of the list is that we play lots of mana rocks, and the reason why we're going to play mana rocks is that if our Alela dies, then we get to just recast it off of the artifacts and enchantments that we're using to cast Alela. Whenever we're casting one of them, we're getting a 1/1 or a 2/1 when it comes to Alela, so it's very useful. So we got things like Arcane Signet, Orzhov Signet, Dimir Locket, Heraldic Banner, which you should name Blue with, Blue being the primary creature colour in this deck. Obviously, Alela being blue, the token she creates being blue, all relevant. I think the only exceptions to the rule are our newest additions, which is Kunaros, Hound of Athreos, and Athreos Shroud Veil. They're the only two blue creatures, I think, in the deck that matter, so something to keep in mind. I guess you could count Eugene, because they're colourless, but, you know, it is what it is. So, yeah, we're going to make lots of mana rocks, make lots of flyers, and then swing over for massive amount of damage. So I'm only going to go really into the new Theros cards that we got added to this deck, since obviously I've played this on the channel before, so I'll leave a link somewhere, probably in the card at the top right hand corner, to the original list if you want to see some more gameplay with this one pre-Theros. This one's actually a doozy. I think it's pretty reasonably competitive and definitely benefits a lot from Theros. So, what new additions do we have? Well, we got two brand new temples. These ones kind of, you know, speak for themselves. Our mana base got better. Two temples, Temple of Deceit, Temple of Enlightenment, allow us to scry whenever we play these lands. Tap land, not ideal, but early game tap lands are just fine, because we don't have too much early game stuff. Especially on turn 1, these are the best things that you want to play. Just having good ideas of what you want to draw into next. Got Omen of the Sea, which is a flash enchantment. I swapped this one out of the egg, one of the eggs that we had, just because I think it's just a strictly better egg. It's blue, it's very nice. It scries 2 before it draws 2 as well, and we can also sacrifice it later to scry 2. We do have Dance of the Manse in the deck as well, so enchantments that sacrifice themselves are pretty damn useful, to be fair. We actually got some removal as well. I swapped this one out of a Murderous Rider. Obviously, Murderous Rider has more utility, but I think this one has more synergy, and I think -3/-3 just does a decent enough job, and as you can see later on, we're going to be getting to another removal spell, which I think makes up for the lack of new cards. Also, Banishing Light, forgot about that one. Kunaros, Hound of Athreos is a little bit of early game. It doesn't really synergize in particular with our deck, but it is a 3 mana 3/3 Vigilant Menacing lifelink. I think those stats are just pretty good for an early game play. It's essentially like Oath of Kyring your opponent's stuff. Very hard to block, very good at blocking, and it also has some pretty good stats on it, some lines of text which are relevant. Creature cards in graveyards can't enter the battlefield, so any graveyard shenanigans are not going to work. So if our opponent plays any of the new Elder Giants, the Titans, they're not going anywhere once they go into the graveyard, which is very annoying for our opponent. And also players can't cast spells from graveyards as well, going to be stopping escape and jumpstart and things like that. So it's mostly here just as a value early game creature to keep us alive, but also has some utility as well, which is quite nice. It's probably a flex slot though, if I'm honest. Banishing Light is one of our new removal options. Again, as I mentioned, we got rid of Murderous Rider, but we actually added some removal in its place. Murderous Rider, obviously not being an artifact enchantment, loses us that value. Banishing Light gives us that value being an enchantment, and also gets to get rid of more things than Murderous Rider could, just getting rid of literally any permanent that we don't like. We got Thirst for Meaning, which is pretty good. We got I think it's Winged Words we changed this one over to. This one is 3 mana to draw 3, which is insane. But we do discard a card unless we discard an enchantment card. We've added more enchantments to the list, so there's a decent chance that we're actually going to be doing a draw 3, discard 1, which is going to be decent enough. And as we mentioned, we've got Dance of the Manse in the late game. We also have something, I think, to pull those enchantments back. So it's alright. Archon of Sun's Grace benefits from enchantments entering the battlefield as well. 4 mana, 3/4 flying lifelink, so really decently statted, similar to the Kunaros of old. Just really helps us block in the early game, but also if we play an enchantment, we get a 2/2 white Pegasus creature token with flying. So it kind of has a similar situation to Alela in that it generates as blockers, but this Archon makes them have lifelink, which makes them better tokens than Alela can produce, which is pretty cool. Eat to Extinction, again, another Murderous Rider solution. 3 and a black for an instant speed. Exile a creature or planeswalker, then you get to look at the top card of your library. You can put that card into your graveyard, so in the late game, we get to increase the odds of drawing good cards. We don't lose life, and we get to kill creatures and planeswalkers, which is pretty useful. Elspeth, Who Conquers Death. 5 mana for a Saga. The first one allows us to exile a permanent an opponent controls with converted mana cost 3 or greater, which I think basically means we get to kill whatever our opponent's playing. Short of mana dorks, this is going to hit everything we really want to hit, especially our commander. The second turnaround turns non-creature spells into slightly more expensive cards, which is pretty cool. And then the third chapter allows us to reanimate a creature or a planeswalker from our graveyard to the battlefield. As you mentioned, we've got a lot of graveyard synergy, so we can put things into our graveyard with like Eat to Extinction. We can put our commander into the graveyard if we know that Elspeth, Who Conquers Death, is going to resolve that chapter 3. And, you know, we got planeswalkers as well. We got Eugene, Tezzeret, things like Meteor Golem. Lots of things that we actually wouldn't mind resolving from the chapter 3, so it's really powerhouse card. Also an enchantment to trigger Alela. Finally, the last edition is Athreos. Not entirely sure if this is necessarily the card we want, because we're not so removal focused. But this actually does help us as a bit of a protection spell for Alela. 6 mana for a 4/7 indestructible. It is an enchantment, as well as being a creature, so it triggers Alela. And as long as your devotion to white and black is less than 7, Athreos isn't a creature, which gives it actually a fair amount of protection. At the beginning of your end step, you get to put a coin counter on a creature, any creature, so it could be ours, it could be our opponent's. And whenever a creature with a coin counter on it dies or is put into exile, return that card to the battlefield under your control, which means we can steal our opponent's creatures, which is really nice when we're using our removal on it. So we could like put a counter on a card that we don't like and then use, Mortifies and Oath of Kaias, depending on the turn sequence, to get those cards back under our control. Could be relevant. You never know. But also we can use it to protect our own things as well, so we can protect our Alela. So if Alela dies, it comes back onto the battlefield under our control. We have to wait until our end step to make that happen. So it's similar to Akaya's Ghost Form in that sense. Another enchantment which helps us protect Alela. And it's just absurd value. So I think this card's going to be pretty decent if we can get it going. But yeah, we have a reasonable amount of removal that Athreos can trigger off of. So we can steal our opponent's creatures. Not too difficult. In a not too difficult way. We've got like Maya's Grasp, we got Eat to Extinction, Elspeth Who Conquers Death, Banishing Lights, Prison Realms, got Meteor Golems, Eugenes. You kind of see the idea. We've got a fair amount of removal here. Oath of Kaya, Conclave Tribunal, and I'm sure there's something else I'm missing. But that's a decent enough amount of removal, which Athreos can trigger off of. But anyway, guys, that is going to do it for the deck tech. Hopefully you guys enjoy today's videos. It's going to be a little bit shorter than I hoped, because I am running a little bit short on time. It's a very busy week for me this week. So hopefully you guys enjoy the content. If you do, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, all that jazz. And without further ado, let's get into the gameplay. I'll see you there. Alright, we're in, and it looks like it's going to be a Brawl pre-con off, because our opponent's playing Tulane, Teller of Tales, Bant, 2-4, and 2. For a Vigilant, 2-4, whenever you cast a creature spell, draw a card, you may put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield, and then there's a 3 and a tap to bounce a creature you control back to your hand. This hand's okay. That's basically all I could say about it. I'm gonna keep it, though. I'm hoping this Temple of Deceit will get me a good white source. I mean, ooh. That's very good for Tulane. I'm going to keep it. It's good for Tulane because it shuts off his abilities and basically makes him a useless commander. We basically OHKO our opponent with that card. I am going to shock myself since we start at 25 just to get down to Tome of Legends because I really don't want to be doing nothing on my turn. And if this actually increases my odds of making a land drop next turn, then it's all worthwhile. Gilded Goose. Well, we got our land, but it's not necessarily the land I wanted. Beggars can't be choosers and all that. Tranquil Cove. Well, we'll play Tranquil Cove instead. I really do need an untapped land, though, because I would have loved to have Alela this turn. This turn coming. They're going to be Tulaning turn after next, unless they want to make sure that they've got protection up for him, which would make a lot of sense. If they use the Gilded Goose here, then they're not going to be Tulaning. Well, I take that back. They use the Gilded Goose, and they can Tulane. Oh, look at that. Beautiful. Alright, there's Alela down. As long as our opponent doesn't have an answer to it, we're going to be able to make a fair few fairy tokens here, and maybe do a bit of going off. We'll see. So the best thing they could do right here is do exactly what they just did there, and that is play Tulane right into a Frogify. That makes him a 1/1 that we don't have to block, and that should just do it, really. Let's go Plains Demir Locket, which adds another fairy to the board. And also allows us to tap our Tome of Legends for some card draw. Get in for an attack, gain 2, and gain a Tome of Legends counter. It's going well, ladies and gents. If we need to, we can Banishing Light something again, and we've even got Mirror Maid as well, which can come into play as another copy of Banishing Light. Or it could come in as a Tome of Legends, but honestly I think drawing 1 a turn's just fine as it is. Time Wipe. That's fine. It's not ideal, but it's fine. To get rid of the Frogify, we have a Banishing Light, though. We are going to go to the Command Zone. We also have Eugene as well, who's very, very large. So, opponent wipes the board. We have to replay our Alela, because it's kind of our game plan. And we get Field of the Dead down, and anything that's not an island or a plains here will actually start generating zombies, which is really, really powerful. We already have the answer to Tulane twice over with Eugene and Banishing Light, and Teferi to a certain extent as well. So it looks like they're going to try and protect Tulane first before they replay him again, which is fair. So District Guide allows them to make a land drop. That might be more important to them, to be fair. Land drops, very, very important. Instead, on our deck, instead of making consistent land drops, what we actually do... we're going to put him in the Command Zone. And this is a Brawl mechanic that y'all should be aware of, is that we can actually kill Deputy of Detention, or Banishing Light him in this case, and Alela will come back to the field, because the Command Zone takes last known location into effect, which says, essentially, where was Alela last? Under Deputy. So we do that shenanigans. Field of the Dead is online. We're going to scry to hopefully find something better than a land for our Tome of Legends, which we can play. Got Tezzeret, that's very good. And I'm tempted to go to Fairy here. Oh, we could just do Arcane Signet. I think we'll do Arcane Signet just in case Alela gets removed again, and it makes us a 2/2. Alright, so we have answers to Tulane. We have a big proactive threat to place down on the board, which will be dealing 3 damage. We've got a card advantage machine going as well. So there's Tulane. They do have 2 mana open, but now they don't. So Tulane triggers, they've got no lands in hand. And they get to flicker District Guide here. So they have a basic in their hand. So we're going to put Tulane underneath another Banishing Light, I think, with Mirror Maid. Could kill him with Eugene. It's also not the worst idea. It makes Orzhov Locket cost 1 mana. Yeah, I think I actually like that idea a lot. So let's kill Tulane with Eugene. We play Orzhov Locket for 1 mana, thanks to the cost reduction on your boy. And I think we go for card draw here. Could play Teferi, but the things that they've got in play right now are not really the things that I want to Teferi bounce. We get Temple instead, which counts as a zombie, which I'm all for. Increasing the odds of drawing a good card. Kunaros. No, he's more for early game. I'm going to put him to the bottom. And we'll swing here. Put another counter on the tome. Very good. Alright. I suppose it was probably a turn where we could have Tezzeretted to make Eugene very cheap. I don't know. Wasn't really considering that as an option. But we're going to Tezzeret next turn, and it makes Teferi cost 2 mana thanks to the affinity on his passive, which I always forget. Three mana left for our opponent, and they're going to go Maraleaf Pixie. Yeah, I think we should just about have this game locked out. Short of them having Plane of Cleansing, we'll be in a decent spot. That's going to be pretty much a free creature, thanks to Tezzeret here. 1 mana, you say? Good lord. I think we're going to go to Fairy. We're going to bounce Maraleaf Pixie. Since it doesn't really do anything initially. Yeah, our opponent's had enough. Too much value. We tick up on Eugene, make a 2/2. Tick up on Tezzeret, deal them 1, 2, 3, 4. So, not too bad. Actually, it'd be 5, because we're going to be playing Meteor Golem just for value, and then we swing for a hell of a lot. Pretty good. Okay, then we're in, and we've got 2-lander with Tome of Legends. This hand does need a good card. A good land, at least. Or an Arcane Signet to work. We are in the draw. I don't know about this one. I mean, if we get down Alela and it doesn't get removed, then we can stick Kaya's Ghost Form on it. And that's 1 free removal spell. Our opponent's playing Ashiok Dream Renderer. 3 mana, 5 loyalty. Can't search your library. Don't think that's really relevant in our case. And opponent puts the top 4 cards of the library. So it's basically mill or control. Usually it's mill. This is so risky to keep. I think I'm going to take the mull. And this looks hell of a lot much better. Alright, cool. The Frogifies and the Transmutations are pretty dead though, in fairness. But the ramp is really what I'm looking at here. Early Alela into whatever we get. It's a Persistent Petitioner's deck. Alright then. Okay. Good luck, opponent. Yeah, let's just go Arcane Signet. So, yeah. This has an activated ability, but it also cares about the creature type. So suddenly these transmutations are looking pretty good because they're no longer going to be... they're not going to be advisors anymore. Which I think is... yeah. They're going to be frogs and things like that. Well, in case of Frogify it is, but this one's not so much. Let's go with Alela, because I don't think our opponent's really trying to win. To put it very bluntly, I don't think they're making any effort to win with their deck. So let's just get our early game down, so at least these guys make us some 2-1s which we can work with. Yeah, let's just turn this petitioners. Actually, let's do a nice little change, shall we? So we've got Midnight Clock. I should have gone a tap land, actually. Yeah, oops. That's fine, though. Midnight Clock. Make a 2/1. Add some mana. We go Transmute... No, Frogify. Turn one of these into a 1/1 frog. And I think we win. Yeah, cool. Sweet. Alright. Yeah, I was trying to get down the Archon of Sun's Grace, because obviously that's the new and interesting card in the deck, but it was just not really efficient to play right then and there. And yeah, it looked like our opponent was just memeing, really. Trying to get their dailies done with the Petitioner's deck. To each his own, I guess, but yeah, we were going to win that race, hands down, I think. Next turn we go Archon of Sun's Grace, just turn one of these into a 1/1 that has no tap ability, essentially. Make a 2/2 Pegasus and a 2/1 Fairy, swing for 1,000,000, kill Ashiok, maybe, if we care about it. We've even got to Fairy to start bouncing, so yeah. Easy. Alrighty then, we're in, and this hand feels a little bit like hot garbage, not gonna lie. Yeah, it's a weird one. We do have Frogify for our opponent's commander, which is definitely a thing. I suppose we got Thirst for Meaning. I just don't love any other part of this hand, though. Let's see what happens. Tap land, go. Yeah, we're going to save the Frogify for the Yarok when it comes down, because if they can't kill their own Yarok, then it's going to stay there being useless. And at least we have the card advantage off the Guild Globe here. We need a land. We need a land really badly. It's a tap land. All the tap lands in our deck today. 3 mana, and... what do we get? Beanstalk Giant, alright. So we're going to be using this Frogify pretty soon. Next turn, potentially. I think I'm just going to go Thirst for Meaning and try and find another land. I guess we could actually go... actually, no. Being silly here. We'll go Orzhov Locket and then Gateway Plaza. Is Orzhov the one we want? No, it's Azorius. Play Gateway Plaza and pay for it. And then if we got a land drop, we can go Alela. Oh my god, they're not even going to Yarok. Ah! Why? Why are you the way that you are? Alright, pass the turn. Yeah, alright. So they got 3 mana left, so they can do 1 ETB here. I guess they wanted that guaranteed value before I Frogified it. They actually have a lot more mana because they haven't used their Nissa yet. So I'm sure this is removal, and if it is, I'll cry. Murderous Rider. Okay, take 6. Kill Alela. Have to make you have it. Sometime this year. Gift of Paradise on the Swamp. Interesting. Into Arcane Signet. Wow. Okay. So, how do we want to do this? We have 6 mana to work with. We do want to Frogify. We want no more value coming out of our opponent's commander here. So let's get that one murdered. Straight up. Can then go Orzhov Locket, make another 2-1. Shock in our Watery Grave and play Kunaros, which is a 3-3 to block their lands. And let's keep Nissa from an ult. Got no intention of blocking Yarok, so he's going to be a 1-1 until they can remove him themselves, which obviously is negative value on their part. We've got Eugene, who can minus on either Nissa or Beanstalk Giant at this point.
The land shall conquer you.
Opponent swings in, so I'm going to block this Gift of Paradise land. We'll take the rest. Oh, that's beautiful. Alright, so let's see. This leaves me with 2 mana left. So I'm almost thinking we go to Theory minus on a land, perhaps. Kill Nissa. If we draw a land that's untapped, we're going to be in a solid position. Should probably bounce the swamp, actually. Beautiful. So let's go to combat, get rid of that floating mana. Kill Nissa. Gets rid of their double mana, and we're going to play Eugene, and we're not going to tick down, we're going to tick up, just so we have a blocker. Tezzeret is very good. Okay. So he's minus. Is that going to be relevant to us? It's not, is it? Meteor Golem. Kill Eugene. Okay. That's fine. Attacking us. And I'm happy to lose to Fairy if it means that Yarok sticks around. Guess I could chump the Beanstalk Giant. Tezzeret is pretty good after all. Not as good as all that glitters, though. That's very good. I guess we should Thirst for Meaning first. Draw 3. Discard the Transmutation. Fabled Passage. Grab. Yeah, I think it planes at this point. We're gonna banner. Name Blue. And then we're gonna all that glitters Alela. Alright. Now we don't really care about damage to face. Opponent needs direct removal for Alela. We could consider actually putting the All the Glitters on one of our fairy tokens, which makes a less desirable removal option, but I feel like if they use Meteor Golem there, they don't really have a good answer. God Eternal Ronus is pretty powerful, but with our blockers, we're only taking a little bit of damage here. We're actually even removing a Meteor Golem while we're at it. Yeah. So we got all that damage there. And then we got a Tezzeret tick up as well to finish off the game. Pretty good. Nice and short games, these ones. Damn. Alrighty then, we're in, and it's a 1-lander and a tap land at that, so we're just going to throw that one on back. And this one's got removal all over. Our opponent's playing Questing Beast as their commander, which is not a card you think to be legendary, but it certainly is. 4 mana, 4/4, Vigilant, Death Touch, and Haste. Can't be blocked by creatures with power 2 or less, which is unfortunate for us, because that's our entire deck. Combat damage that would be dealt by creatures you control can't be prevented. And on the 9,000th line of this card, if it deals combat damage to an opponent, it deals that much damage to a planeswalker that player controls. I like this hand a lot. It's got some removal in it. It's got decent mana. We're going to keep it. We can't exactly kill Questing Beast with Oath of Kaya, but we still have the Mortify at the very least. So there's a Pelt Collector. We're just going to go with the land arcane signet here. We can play down Alela next turn. Because I don't think we're going to have to Oath of Kaya this early. We can probably still get the Pelt Collector the turn after next. And any removal our opponent has is likely to be fight spells, so at least we get a little bit of a trade-off since we have the Death Touch. Paradise Druid. Yeah, we're ramping. So, I'm going to go Castle Lochthwain into Alela. Opponent, if they go Land Questing Beasts, gives us a clock that we have to deal with, but we do have Oath of Kaya here to kill Pelt Collector, and it's not going to do any damage to us necessarily. And then we got the Mortify later for Questing Beast. So let's gain a bit of life, kill a 3/3, make a blocker for Paradise Druid, and we get to swing in and gain 2. Slowing our opponent down nice and easy. So what do we want from our top decks? We want a land at least, which we can get with Thirst for Meaning, dumping Meteor Golem, I guess. Since we got the Dance of the Manse. Alright, putting a counter on Questing Beast is totally fine. We get to kill Jiang Yu. Our opponent... Ooh, they got Gildagoose, yeah. Okay, we're still going to kill Jiang Yu, but... Could Frogify Questing Beast. That just makes the whole thing a lot easier. Alright. Yeah. This card in Commander is just absurd. Let's turn that into a 2/2. Make our own 2/2. Now I don't have to kill Questing Beast because he's actually completely useless. Kill Jiang Yu, gain 2. And save the Mortify for bigger and better things. We never really have to block Questing Beast because we're gaining 2 on the attack anyway. So let's go with Thirst for Meaning. And... it's only enchantment. I thought it was Artifact. I was going to discard Meteor Golem. That's fine though. So we are going to discard the Conclave Tribunal since we do have the Meteor Golem as removal anyway. And Dance of the Manse, we can get back that Conclave Tribunal just fine. Destroy my Frogify. Okay. It's really not that bad. Got removal for him anyway. Spark Double Alela. Love to see it. Let's make 2 Alelas. And I think then we will probably look into killing Questing Beasts. We'll wait though, since we've got instant speed removal. There's no sense in firing it off just yet. So each Alela pumps itself. It's also going to give another +1/+0 to our fairy tokens. Every artifact and enchantment we play makes 2 fairies instead. Wildborn Preserver, sure. That's a card that we might want to mortify. If it gets in our way. So lots of mana here. Let's see what they can do. I mean, the removal is going to be very much fight-based, so it's going to whiff the first time around. Makes me wonder whether I even want to actually fire off this Mortify. I guess I do, because I'm not really going to have a good chance to use it otherwise. Let's see how they attack. They've only really got 1 good attack. They pass completely. Wow. Wowie. Alright, so 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, we just kill Gildagoose. And then we kill Wildborn Preserver with Meteor Golem and we win. Alright. Yeah, it's a weird one. I can see why you'd want a like green Stompy, but I think you want to pick like a Nylea, the green god, if you want to do mono green Stompy. It's one I haven't tried out yet, so maybe it's trash, but I can't imagine a cost reduction on a green Stompy deck is really all that bad. But yeah, if you want a Questing Beast, you can Questing Beast. It's obviously the 19 lines of text on it make it a good card, but I don't know. Alright guys, well that's going to do it for today's video. I'm running a little bit short on time, so I'm going to have to end it off here, which is a little bit shorter than I would have ideally wanted, but hopefully you guys enjoyed these matchups. If you did, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe as well. Let me know how much you enjoy Brawl Day, which is Wednesday and no other day. Unless, of course, you do arenabrawl.net, which is one way that you can use the internet to play Brawl for completely free and save yourself 10,000 gold. So, arenabrawl.net, the only way to play Brawl on a non-Wednesday. Alright, take care guys!